Yo guys, what's up man? What's up man? It's your main man here, Double H, Double Star H, trying to live, trying to exist, trying to stay alive, man. So look man, I watched it. And oh man, yo, your boy George is already in here. Um so obviously I'm gonna give my season one review of good old Attack on Titan. And obviously for my Patreon members, I'm gonna go into a bit more detail into a few of the other characters as well. So I think I'm going to go into a lot more detail into some of the characters and some of the episodes for my Patreon members because I've got an anime section on the Patreon thing there. But this is just going to be my overall thoughts about the whole thing. This is one very weird, violent, passionately aggressive, wild, odd show. Because because basically this show perfectly represents a lot of stuff that I appreciate about anime and Japanese creativity, and it also shows a lot of the massive issues I have with anime and why I sort of never really got into anime a lot initially. This represents it. One Punch Man season one is still tops, but I think Attack on Titan does some things really well, and it also does some things which I just find just slightly a bit odd. So, my initial thoughts overall on Attack on Titan. Let me get that bad boy up. It's a very well made show, and I think what it is that I like the inventiveness of it. It is very very inventive, and the whole idea of it sets in the past, but because basically, and this is what the Japanese do very well, is that they're very creative in their settings. Because this setting, I don't know how many of you played this game called Vagrant Story. I think it was on the PlayStation, because I think my brother played it because I watched him play it. It reminds me of Vagrant Story. So and also Captain Levi. I now know where you now get your name from, Captain Levi's page. So yeah, Captain Levi. So Vagrant Story. So basically, the thing about this is, it's sort of like a mix between the past and the future because the way the buildings are built and also the fact that they're using horses, you think it's in the past, but the kinds of materials and things that they use to fight these giants called titans is interesting. So I mean, the basic story is like these guys are trapped within these walls, and they're trapped within these walls because they're fighting these huge giants called titans. These things are like 14, 15 meters tall, and these things pretty much attack them and prey upon them. And in this, and as we can see, the central characters are Eren, Mikasa, and flipping prick Armin. And pretty much these guys sort of like get affected by what the giants do to their families and their friends at a young age, and they recruit and try and join up and train to be part of the military force. And the military force are sort of like the soldiers who are like the last line of defense against these giants. And I'll get to the giants because those giants have to be some of the most horrific things I've ever seen in my life. Literally, those are, maybe it's because it's 2D animation or something. There was something particularly very unsettling about these dudes. Those things were very unsettling. But so that's just the basic thing is these soldiers pretty much, what's happening? These soldiers pretty much have these, I don't know how to explain, these sort of machines that have swords and ropes that help them to climb up to these giants. And the way that these giants get killed is by stabbing them in the nape at the back of their neck. But it's easier said than done. So, and I think what is done very well in the show is the difficulty in which our characters find it to fight these giants. And I think that's probably the thing that I think they do the best at in this thing. And where I think they could have done it better, but I think the biggest strength of the show is how tough this situation is. Where even I think the first 6, 7 episodes, when these guys were just sort of like first fighting the giants before that big, twisty thingy, I was like, how do you fight these things? Because the stuff that they have is they pretty much have bricks to pretty much fight these giants. It's like, how the hell do you fight them? And just even when they try and take down one, it is so difficult that you're like, man, there's no way for them to win. And I think the only way for them to even win is when you now see what will happen to our characters, Eren. So, as I said again, it's a very hard show to break down because, look, what I appreciate about it, even if I didn't love everything about it, what I appreciate is that, see, this is why I prefer anime to Pixar, because anime goes for the swing. It goes balls out for the swing. Sometimes it hits and sticks. Sometimes it just misses, but I still appreciate the effort. See, Pixar doesn't even make an effort. Like Marvel and Disney don't even make the effort. They just have a checklist and yep, jokes here, humor here, make you cry here, emotional here, Hollywood ending here, and boom, and that's it. The thing about anime is like this, they really are creative, and this is a very creative show. Not all of the stuff works. Not all of the stuff works, and I'll probably get into that, but it is still very interesting. So let's just really break down the characters. So first of all, we've got this dude here, Eren, who's of course the central character here. Now, he's an interesting character, but is he a good character? Yo, now see, what up, baby, what's popping? Is this dude? I'm not sure whether he's a good character or not. That's something I need to rethink on, because this dude shouts a lot. And I think in the first few episodes, I was like, I get that, look, he's had a very harsh life. And he's obviously gone through a lot. But it just seems as if he was a bit too manic, And he obviously is going through a lot of stuff. And I think, because I don't want to give away too many spoilers, I don't know whether I should give spoilers away. So maybe I should say, okay, spoiler alert. Screw it, spoiler alert. So the dude becomes a titan. Okay, this dude becomes a flipping titan, and I think once that happens and he becomes like a titan, I think that's just when things get really complex. But I think the main thing about this is that, okay, is he a well-written character? I don't really know, because I think, what Japanese people like to do, and I think what they do in anime is there's a lot of exposition. And there's a lot of exposition from him. And I just think that some of the stuff that kept on being regurgitating from him just seemed quite repetitive. And I just think that his character, basically, I felt that there were better, more interesting, fleshed out characters than him. And obviously we'll probably get to that other character there, but I felt that they're much more better fleshed out characters than the dude. So I think as a main character, I get what they were trying to go for. They were trying to go for a guy who's obviously very conflicted, is dealing with a lot of anger and has a lot of anger within him. And I think that anger sort of like coincides with him obviously controlling this flipping titan that he has, man. So, but I just thought that, look, this guy shouted a lot, man. Almost every other sentence this dude said was screaming or shouting in your face. So forget that smile that I just saw. That this dude, literally, he'll be speaking to a guy 2 meters away and he'll be screaming at the dude. I'm like, look, yeah, I know that these are tense times, but look at Mikasa and Armin. They seem pretty cool. Like, dude, just chill. Like, the guy be like, yes, hello, how are you doing? Good morning. Are you all right? Okay, that's good. I'm going to use the toilet right now. Yes. Is someone in the toilet? Okay, someone's in the toilet. I want to use the toilet. I was like, bro, just chill, relax. I know times are crazy, but just chill. Please, I beg you. So, yeah, Eren for me, I just thought that the guy was pretty weird. This dude. I didn't like this dude. I've just got to keep real. You obviously saw my tweets. Maybe some of you would have saw my Patreon vids and everything on the Patreon on the Lens vids. I found this dude bloody annoying, man. he did get better and he did grow some balls. Still not sure whether this dude is a boy or a girl. I know people say that he's a boy, but as I was watching, I'm like, bro, I'm still not. I think the guy could still be a girl. I'm not sure whether the guy is a boy or a girl. So he did definitely grow a lot more and grow a lot more. But my gosh, in the first 5, 6, 7 episodes, I wanted to punch this guy in the face, because I hated his face. I hated his personality. I hated him whinging. I hated just everything about him. I just said, can't you just get rid of this stupid flipping dude? So, but I get he was important because he means a lot to Eren's upbringing and everything. But I was like, look, man, this dude's. I mean, I just found him extremely annoying. But as much as I found him annoying, I think that this was probably one of the best characters. And you could argue that Mikasa is probably the most important character of the piece, because I think and I think this was probably one of the best bits they did in this. So I think in the first few episodes, when you see Mikasa and everything, I'm like, okay, so why is she so tough, or why is she so cold or everything? So is she just tough because, oh yeah, we must have like a tough female, yeah, because we're really cool, yeah, the whole tough female, like, that's just been cheesy. Is there a reason why she's so tough? But then when they now did like a flashback to how she was and why she is how she is and what happened to her, then you're like, oh snap, oh damn, that is why she's so tough. And I think, unlike Eren or Armin, I think the way that her character was sort of drawn and created, I thought was done really well. I think it was fleshed out a lot more, because as much as she was very hard and tough, you saw by the end of the season, her emotions for Eren definitely came through, and he definitely saw that connection that she had for him and everything. So her character just felt a lot more well-rounded. And she was a bloody good fighter. So she was a damn good fighter. So, but beyond that, what really scared me, I mean, I can't speak enough about the nightmares I'm going to be having about this. These titans are going to give me nightmares. I don't know what the creators were smoking. I don't know what they were sniffing when they came up with the Can you look? That's horror. That's horrific. Are you looking at this stuff, guys? I mean, look at this. This is genuinely scary. Like, it is generally some of the scariest thing that I've ever seen in my life. And I think that, for me, again, was one of the brightest and best parts of this, is because, you say, okay, they're fighting these giants, and they could have made the giants in a very kind of standard way, like monsters, and they're just drones, or just pretty much like zombies. But this just goes to the creativity that I get with anime, that there was just something, and I think why I talked about it with my guest that I had like earlier on, is that there's something very off about them, the way that they look, the way that they move, and there's just a general presence and aura they have that just makes them very unsettling. And as unsettling they are, that just adds to the kind of presence and the fear that they pretty much provoke. And I think because this is what these guys are fighting, that is just what's held the show together so much, was that these things they're fighting are genuinely scary. And whenever they come, they generally have a presence whenever they come, because you could definitely much have these villains or something that are just like, whatever. But I just think these things were generally scary, like genuinely flipping horrific, man. So, so yeah, so look, it's an interesting show, but I think even before I really round off and just give my overall thoughts on the show, obviously, look, that female Titan was wild, man. That female Titan was flipping wild. I mean, basically, that was like a final boss. Because you know how you have those final bosses where, like, okay, you know what their weak spot is, but the boss now knows what their weak spot is. So even if you're now going for that weak spot, nothing's going to happen. nothing's gonna happen. So I think it's the difficulty to take on that female Titan was crazy. But that's where you now bring in your boy Captain Levi, who, even if I didn't see much of him during this whole season, for me, I felt that he was the best character. I think for me, if I had to pick my favorite character, it's hard to be him, because I just think like, and that's just the whole thing. Like, it's almost similar to like Hannibal Lecter in Silent Signs of the Lambs, or Joker in Dark Knight. Is that sometimes those characters, they may be there for a small screen time, but their effectiveness is so good that they have a strong effect. I mean, Eren for me was like, yeah, he was cool. He was cool, especially the role he played. But I just felt like Levi had a much bigger impact, because obviously he's obviously the straight down the barrel, no jokes, doesn't crack a smile, veteran, extremely skilled soldier. But I just think that the way that he rolled, just his general flow and everything, there was just something very cool about him, and there's just something that's very different about him. And see, he just felt very unique, because it's a character trait that we see in many things. The really tough, very well skilled soldier that doesn't really crack jokes, but the way that he was put across in this just seemed a bit different. So maybe it's his haircut, it's his look and everything. He just stood out from everyone else. And look, and the way that guy regulated and hustled on that flipping female Titan, I was like, bro, that guy's money. So, Attack on Titan, what do I? So as the season goes, it's a difficult one. I liked the ideas. Basically, there is a really great show here. If they cut down on the exposition, they cut down on the sort of adulation and clamoring of blonde white beauty, which Japanese people do a lot, which can get very cringy. If they just cut down on some unnecessary scenes, and they just focused much more on what is a very interesting story of what are these Titans, where do they come from, and the lives of these soldiers, the lives of the military force, the lives of the scouts, and how different life is for those in the military and those in the scouts, and how difficult it is, and the relationships between these soldiers and the stories that they have, and how difficult it is for them to really fight these giants. If they focus much more on that, and they just told a much tighter story, and just let the plot drive them through, and they just colored the characters in a much more concise way, I think you'd have a great show. I think where I had issues with, there were just times where I was like, okay, where the hell is this going? And I just think there was just too much dialogue being said. And I think that is where, because I think, you look at like a One Punch Man, everything that is said is necessary. It is not overboard. And I think One Punch Man, it knows what it is, it knows what it's trying to say, and it's just quick and direct, But I think Death Note was sort of doing that, but it sort of veered off and just went a bit too much with the dialogue. But I think in this, there are just times where I don't need the character to tell me what they're thinking. Let me interpret it for myself. It just seemed as if the exposition was a bit too much, and it was a bit too much spoon feeding within the information that we were given. Whereas the story is so interesting, the world that is created is so interesting. The very morbid, and the very dire vibe that has been illustrated is so interesting, that that is your juice. Just make the characters real. So I didn't feel like if the characters were genuine. I didn't. No. Some of the characters were authentic. Other characters just seemed like mouthpieces. And they just seem like, okay, look, man, this is the message we want to say across, and we're just going to use characters to just say this message, and they just blah blah blah. I'm like, we don't really need to do that. But so if I just to rate the season, I'd probably give it like an upper tier 3. I'd give this an upper tier 3. So I'd give so I gave Death Note a tier 2, One Punch Man tier 1, 100%. I'd give this an upper tier 3. I'd give this an upper tier 3, man. But it was cool. No, it was cool. It was cool. Just that I just had a few issues with stuff. So let me just see what you guys are saying. So as of right now, I'm actually currently I've begun One Punch Man season 2 episode 1. So I'm gonna ride through One Punch Man, ride through that, and just see how far I can get through that. But yeah, I have begun One Punch Man. But Demon Slayer looks interesting. So I mean, what do you guys suggest that I roll with, man? I want to see HH see the. Oh, Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, I think I've watched the first episode of Hunter x Hunter. So, oh, okay. So you guys are all saying that Hunter x Hunter is the best anime then. I think that is the best anime. So no, and also I think people have said like the seasons gets better. That once you get into um that basically Attack on Titan, like season 2, season 3, they get better. I mean, we'll see. But I mean, for me, I think I want to just cool off on Attack on Titan and maybe check out some other stuff. I've heard about Mob Psycho. So that's something that I may check out as well. So I think after I finish One Punch Man, I'll probably get onto Mob Psycho. I think I've got this free trial of Crunchyroll, so I've got my 14-day free trial of Crunchyroll, so I'm going to try and roll all those crunches with the stuff. So I'm gonna, because One Punch Man season 2 first episode, pretty good. It's maintaining the comedy, which I like. The comedy has been maintained. So let's just see how the rest of the season goes. But Mob Psycho seems very interesting. Demon Slayer, because they the way they show ads during the whole Crunchyroll, if not part of the whole thing, and they showed an ad of Demon Slayer, and I already like the low look of that. Because for me, what I want in the anime stuff, I'm not a fan of the dialogue heavy stuff. I'm much more of a fan of the more actiony stuff. So much more action, dynamic stuff. So action, dynamic stuff with a good, interesting story. That's the kind of stuff that I'm really more into, because I think sometimes whenever you go into the very dialogue heavy stuff in anime, it can get very melodramatic, and I'm not one for melodrama personally. Just watch Vinland Saga, Demon Slayer. Okay, so Demon Slayer is ongoing, yeah. Huh? Yeah, no. See, thank you. Ninja Scroll is something I need to watch. 100%. Ninja. I don't know whether. Wait, let me check. Let me check whether it's on Netflix. I'll see whether it's on Netflix, but I'll definitely watch it. So yeah. So obviously, before I roll, that was just like my review of Attack on Titan. Look, man, Armin is a brick. That dude's a brick. I don't care what anyone says. That dude is a grade A brick. But I'll see how everything else goes, man. So that's all from me. Attack on Titan. Those giants were flipping scary. Some of those scenes, bro. I know that this is a 15. Some of those scenes, bro, I think this might have to be X-rated. Some of those scenes were extreme. The way these giants were taking out those guys were flipping it extreme. But yeah, man, crazy, wild show, but very interesting, guys. All right, guys, peace out, stay true. Remember to sub, and I'll be posting more videos and reviews and stuff on the Half Up Thoughts. Peace out, stay true, stay real. Peace out.